Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the very first episode of the Show the Art podcast. Today, your boys Abe and Marcos, along with their friend Ames, interview Mr. Jason C. Brown, aka JCB. JCB is a creator and founder of Kettlebell Athletics and a badass purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He got started with BJJ training and kettlebell training with the legendary Steve Maxwell. He currently travels the country right now teaching kettlebell certification courses, but on this podcast, he doesn't just talk about strength training and jiu-jitsu. He drops knowledge bombs after knowledge bombs on life and philosophy. So guys, we really hope you enjoy this podcast, and if you do enjoy this podcast, please like and share this with anyone and everyone.
Jason C. Brown is the eternal purple belt.
Hopefully not you.
2 decades in.
2 decades in. Yes, 20 years. This is my 20-year anniversary.
And Jason, what is your background in the fitness realm?
Background goes back really far. I'm from the coal regions in Pennsylvania. Everybody growing up in the coal regions either played football, wrestled. All the kids have like a weight room in their basement or their garage or something like that. So the town I grew up is it's pretty well known for their wrestling and their football. I had an athletic older brother. I was always interested in athleticism. Although I never played football or wrestling, I was always sort of like I was an X Games type of kid on my bike.
Yeah, I remember seeing those videos and pictures of you on the bike doing those tricks.
Yes.
What do they call
me
that?
and my
Flatland?
friends, we all trained, but we just did it because we wanted to be better on the bike and the skateboard.
Nice.
We could actually beat up the jocks if we wanted to,
Yes.
which was pretty cool.
What?
And
Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
and I mean that just carried over into high school. I had a great powerlifting coach in high school. And then when I was always fascinated with that type of stuff. I mean, I remember playing samurais and ninjas in the woods also, just to dovetail this back to the jiu-jitsu. Then I went in the Marines. When I got out of the Marines, I moved to Philadelphia. I studied kinesiology, which is the study of human movement at Temple University.
Nice.
That explains your b-boyism.
My b-boyism.
Yes, you've added breakdancing to your being.
I did breakdance back in the early 80s, in the 80s. Yes.
Nice.
Rocksteady crew.
My best friend, Walter O'Donnell.
Shout
Do you
out
have a
to
B-boy
Walter
name?
O'Donnell.
I did not have a B-boy name. But I loved what was that movie?
Save the Last Dance.
No.
No?
Step up.
Dance flicks.
No, not you guys are awesome. What? Beach Street.
There you go. Yeah.
Man, Beach Street. We would watch Beach Street every day after school.
Oh, yes.
That soundtrack was awesome.
And what is that called when you're doing all the tricks on the bike, like on the floor? It's not on a ramp or in a
You'd
park.
say flatland.
Flatland. Okay, I figured that.
Flat.
Yeah, and how long did you do that for? Because that's super interesting. It's rare to come across someone who does that these days, or did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably a decade. We had a half pipe before everybody had half pipes. We had a half pipe in one of my friend's yard.
Nice.
My dad was a construction worker, so every night he would bring home like a new sheet of plywood. We actually got caught stealing 2x4s from a bank that was being constructed.
Oh, I love thugs.
Yeah.
I love street people.
These 2 girls ratted us out. They were like sort of our partners, and
Snitched
they
them
got
out.
caught. They snitched us out. They did.
Oh, no.
Stitched you.
Bitch snitches.
But unfortunately, the wood had the name of the bank
Ah.
on it. So when the cops
You
showed
can't
up,
even
we were
lie.
like,
Got that PNC ramp.
that Bank of America. It's like a field.
sponsored by PNC. Yes.
Awesome. And now you're a kettlebell extraordinaire. Is that correct?
I wouldn't use the word extraordinaire to define myself, but if you would like to, you're more than welcome to.
I love
blank
I love hyping people up, so I'm gonna stick with
Keep
extraordinary.
doing it.
We love over-exaggerating people.
Outstanding.
Especially if you're
Nelson calls me a kettlebell juggling panda warrior.
Nice.
I like the panda warrior.
Nelson, the CEO and president of Inverted Gear.
Yes, El Puentes.
El Puentes. What's his middle name? Horacio?
Horatio.
I can't remember either.
Yeah. Good old Nelson. But yeah.
Necho.
Necho. But we got our I don't know if we got first introduced by you through your seminar. We did your seminar and got certified like 5 years ago with you, remember?
Yes.
Yes. Abe, did you even speak English?
I was
You
focused.
didn't say a word the whole weekend.
I was focused.
You were focused.
And I was very
Just
tired.
give me this blank stare.
No, he was a mute up until 17 years old.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo.
Give me this blank stare, and then I would try to speak Spanish with Marcos, and he'd be like,
You made it worse if you tried to speak a different language.
Frijoles negros.
Yeah, we did like just swings and exercises for like 8 hours straight. That was tough.
Oof.
yeah, that was pretty cool at that awesome little gym in Manhattan called Chaksabai.
Yes.
It was a Muay Thai school, right?
Muay Thai, they do have jiu-jitsu now. I'm not sure who teaches it, but
We received our level 1 kettlebell athletic certification under you. We are forever linked to you. We are
Yes.
your kids.
And it moved
Thank
pretty well too when we were training at Crank. Not much teaching because they
Why,
had
thank you.
those kettlebell swings, those cleans down packed.
Why, thank
Why,
you.
thank you, sir.
Tip my
Courtesy
hat.
of
Tipping my hat.
JCB, of course.
JC
Thank you.
Bizzle.
So do you still? So you do seminars a lot, right? You're still doing all these. You're hosting.
I had 39 last year. I was away 39.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So you grossed about.
hey.
I can't tell you, but I'm in a different tax bracket.
My man. So can you tell people a little bit about how one of these training days would go with you?
Specifically the kettlebell days.
Yeah, like a kettlebell cert number 1 day.
Yeah, so we divide it up into 12 hours. It's usually 6 hours one day is best, 6 hours the next day. Did we do a 2 day or 1 day with you guys?
One
can't
day.
remember.
It was a 1 day.
One day.
Yeah, 1 days are long, but some facilities require a 1 day.
Yeah.
But we teach the 5 basic skills, the swings, variations of the swings, squats, overhead press, windmills, get-ups, and I believe of cleans, of course. And I currently I've taken the snatches out of the level 1 course. I'm not sure. I believe at the time that we worked together, there were still snatches.
We did. I remember us doing like 2 or 3 different versions, if my memory serves me.
Yes, probably. We probably did a vertical one and one that's based off of the swing.
Yes, exactly.
So those were
Yeah.
the hardcore days of kettlebell athletics.
Yes.
Nice. We're
By
part
the
of
way,
that.
gentlemen, there is a level 2 this
Oh,
weekend
gee.
in Manhattan if you would like to attend.
Seriously?
43rd and 5th.
Wow.
Do you need
Yes.
practice? Do you need to be in practice to come?
Do I need to reinstate my kettlebell level 1?
You know what's interesting? I have people that attend the level 2, and I can tell instantly that they have not been in practice
Yikes.
the whole time.
Wow.
And I appreciate their return business. I appreciate seeing all the people I've worked with in the past, but
Yeah.
I really require or
Yeah, it's doing a
suggest-
disservice.
It is.
Yeah.
I will not be present this weekend.
You have not been in practice.
Yeah. Marco should go and take video, though. I suggest that.
All right.
That I would not see in 9 years.
I think you'll get your brown belt quicker than you'll get the video. Jason, you started jiu-jitsu in 1996.
Correct.
There you
This was probably the Hoist Gracie Shamrock fight number 2. That's how far back, like UFC
crazy,
3
right?
or something.
It is crazy when I think about it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Who did you start
Yeah.
with?
I started under the guidance of Stephen Maxwell.
Oh, he is a god.
He's the man.
He is, and you know what? It's like it's crazy. Like I think everybody's like he was pre Henzo Gracie in Philadelphia,
Wow.
which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first academy on the East Coast to teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Wow.
He was also you saw the kettlebells when you visited me down here.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
steel metal ball bearing kettlebells. Those were his. He was the first gentleman on the East Coast to have the Russian kettlebell. One of his
Yeah.
students made those.
Wow.
So he was well ahead of the, he was always a front runner.
Was he responsible for planting jiu-jitsu in Philadelphia?
I would say so. All of the good, really good academies around the Philadelphia region, I would even say further up into the northeast and down to Virginia, have their roots with Steve.
Wow.
There was a guy in 1996. His name was Turnpike Mike, right? Because he would drive 2 to 3 hours to come and train.
Wow.
And I think he was from New York. I'm sure there were New York academies at the time, but his nickname was Turnpike Mike. He would drive down to train with Steve.
Wow.
Dedication.
Yeah, that's serious. And that's who you learn kettlebell movements from?
Originally, yes.
Uh-huh.
And did you learn kettlebell at the same time that as you learned jiu-jitsu?
No, they came a little bit later.
Okay.
Maybe 3 or 4 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Man, Steve was that academy was like the best thing. Like, I don't know how many academies still put on boxing gloves, but we would put on the boxing gloves. We would spar from the feet with boxing gloves.
Uh-huh. That's amazing.
It was no-gi was just, you just took off the top. There was no fancy, leggings,
rash guards and stuff. Yeah.
no rash guards. It was a T-shirt with your I don't know what they call it. The unbleached gis, the Pro Force unbleached gis, because there wasn't a huge jiu-jitsu gi market at that time. They were all judo gis.
Oof, thick judo gis. You sweat like a
They're all long.
wildebeest.
They come down past your kneecaps.
The sleeves are up to your elbows. Definitely not IBJ.
IBJJF legal, yes.
Yeah.
Very stringent requirements when competing.
Yes.
Yeah,
But there was always a great physical culture there as well. Like Steve always had sandbags are big now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steve always had sandbags, but they weren't these fancy sandbags with handles. They were sea bags or, like the military duffel bags.
Yeah.
You just tape them up, right?
Yeah, filled with sand.
Wow.
That was it.
So he was ahead of the time.
Yeah. He was. Gymnastics rings, they had something called I don't know what he technically called it, but it was a pull-up bar on chains hanging
Whoa.
from the ceilings. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
trying to think about that right now.
Yeah. So it pretty much dips in when you pull, right? When you're lifting yourself.
Yeah, you can't kip.
Oh, interesting. And you have that big cannonball for a pull-up setup. That one's really, really difficult. If anybody's ever tried that, it's this big cannonball that you hang from a pull-up bar, and you have to grab it using
like
your
a
grips, like a cannonball. And
Yeah, it's big. It's like 12-inch diameter. I picked that up from Rogue.
Oof.
It's
Nice.
Insanity.
yeah,
think
it's
it's
really,
heavy duty.
really hard to do, and I can imagine.
But you did it. You did it more than once.
It's super difficult to do. I did it on the first try, but
I
that's
see
besides
where you're
the
going.
point.
I see where you're going with
Shameless
this.
plug.
It was really hard, but I did it like 20 times.
No, but I can imagine people who
It was really hard, but I did it 20 times.
but I did it with one hand,
Yes. Yes.
with chains around.
No
my
big
neck.
deal.
But yeah, and what other kind of like fancy equipment do you have? Like unorthodox equipment, like the cannonball, and anything else besides that we missed?
Nah. I'm pretty basic. I like
Meat and
kettlebells,
potatoes.
dumbbells.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You know what? I've recently picked up those center mass bells.
Oh, how are
Those
those?
fat bells.
Like
I
you
love
put
them.
the one that you put your fist in. It's like a weapon type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 3 of those. It's crazy. I actually prefer those over the kettlebell for certain movements because I have cranky
Wow.
jiu-jitsu elbows, right?
Oh, that's
So, like, the rack
true.
Yeah. The rack position on my left side really bugs my first I broke it doing bike tricks, and then now it just gets irritated doing jujitsu. But
Yeah.
the rack position really hurts my elbow.
Oh,
But with center mass bells, I can clean them, snatch them. It's all good.
Nice.
Interesting.
It's like a hollow, just like that cannonball you're talking. It's hollowed out, and you could put. It's kind of
Okay.
like a kettlebell.
Yeah, I
Just
think I've
handle
seen it
inside there.
before.
Yeah, it's pretty
Very
cool.
interesting.
Very,
So
really
it changes the way you're lifting essentially.
Yeah, and there's no pressure on your wrist.
So that's probably great for snatches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. You can swing it. You can do everything you could with a. I think the best tool for swinging is the kettlebell no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But these work very well for all the other ballistic movements.
I see. Yeah,
Interesting.
because a lot of clients that we have, they're always complaining of their forearms. They get that little kettlebell kiss on their forearm. It's all bruised up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people are starting to wear like wristbands on their forearm to protect from the snatches,
Yeah,
right?
that's what a lot of people.
Right.
Do we frown upon that, Jason?
No, especially if you're a competitor, I would recommend it.
I
Okay.
see.
Kettlebell competitors use them all the time.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah.
But they do sets that are 10 minutes long, right?
Ooh. How would those competitions run?
There's a couple different formats, but the gentleman would usually compete in something called the snatch, right? Which is 10 minutes. You get one hand switch.
Okay.
Total max, or how many repetitions you get within 10 minutes using one hand switch.
So you can switch halfway. You could time it.
You can switch halfway at the 5-minute mark if you want. Usually, people don't do that. They usually do a strong side and a weak side. So, say if you're going to do 200 snatches, you would do 150 and 50.
Okay.
Something like that.
You're just trying to get as many as you can with the strong side, and then
Switch.
Gotcha.
Nice.
But
Yeah, and then other people use different strategies. They start on the weak side
Okay.
and go as long as they can on the weak side, then they finish off strong on the strong side.
Nice.
Okay.
got
There's
it.
different theories. And then you would do a double bell clean and jerk.
Oh wow.
You get a bell clean and
For
jerk.
10
And again,
minutes?
that's another 10 minutes for maximum reps.
I've never tried a duck. Wow, that's pretty cool.
So that's pretty much how it runs. Just 10 minutes of one exercise, and you got to get as many as you can in.
Yes.
Wow.
Is there a prescribed weight for that?
No, so there's body weight classes as well as kettlebell weight classes.
I see.
So you could be a 200-pound athlete using 16 kilo bells, or a 200-pound athlete using 24 or 32 kilo bells.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you translate kilogram to pounds? For some of us?
2.2.
2.2.
2.2.
Okay.
Get the calculators out.
All right.
That's what I would do.
So the popular topic is, how can I translate this into my jiu-jitsu? How can I make this better for my jiu-jitsu? So how can people make kettlebell training make their jiu-jitsu better? Can it help with conditioning? Can it help with strength? And what are some examples of things they can do?
It's really dependent on that person, right? Because oftentimes I just use the kettlebell for something called a goblet squat. I'm not sure if you gentlemen are familiar with the goblet squat, but so the goblet squat is like where you squat with the kettlebell between your thighs. Right? For some individuals, that could be a strength movement. But for many of the guys that I come in, the recreational jiu-jitteros, right, that it's simply a mobility exercise because they can't get into the squat without the additional weight, but also without altering their center of gravity. As their hips travel back, they tend to rock back onto their heels a little bit, lose their balance. By messing with that center of gravity, by putting the kettlebell in front of them, they're able to sink into a squat much more properly.
Sure.
So, I mean, you could use it as a strength exercise. You could use it as a mobility exercise.
Okay.
You could use it as a,
Like a corrective.
As a corrective, if you want to use that term, for sure. But I tell everybody when we do kettlebell training, like, good technique in kettlebell training is good jiu-jitsu technique.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure if you remember all those things that we spoke about when you guys took the course, but Russians have a really cool saying: an elbow away from the body punishes the shoulder. So think about that. You have me in cross side, my elbow comes away from my body.
Yeah.
Kimura.
Exactly.
Americana.
Armbar attacks, all those things, and just defending, elbows tight, stopping the underhooks.
Right.
Interesting.
All the good presses should come with the elbow tight. The leverage, like the wrist positions.
Nice.
Knowledge bomb.
So you've approached it into more technical aspect as opposed to translatable into the physical, like conditioning aspect. Very interesting. Nice.
I think it can be a very useful conditioning tool, right? Specifically for here's one thing that I always tell the guys that I work with too. But what do you hear people yell during jiu-jitsu matches all the time? Like from the sidelines. Well, yeah, breathe, right? Breathe is one. What's the other one? It starts with a P.
Pace.
Posture.
Posture.
Right? So poor posture in jiu-jitsu is poor posture in kettlebell training, and vice versa, right?
Gotcha.
So, like, sort of the big things are, like, in jiu-jitsu, well, in my jiu-jitsu, initiate movement with the hips, Kettlebell training, initiate movement with the hips.
It's true.
Right? Keep length in your spine. That type of stuff is all transferable.
Initiate movement with your hips, which means your feet are always planted, grounded, rooted.
Could be. Yeah.
Interesting. So I've never heard it this way, but it makes a lot of sense. Like you're taking the kettlebell training and you're making it the foundation of your physical, but also you're making it the foundation of your jiu-jitsu. So now your jiu-jitsu doesn't crumble under pressure. You're not passing guards with a slouched back and being pulled left and right, which translates into getting swept and submitted easier.
Right.
Correct.
So the kettlebell trains all those muscles that would prevent that type of bad posture in jiu-jitsu, right?
Sure.
There's like the anti-gravity muscles, right? So all that term that's very popular is like the posterior chain.
Yeah.
Right? All those muscles that run along your spine from your tailbone all the way to the top of your head.
Okay.
Boom. Kettlebell works all that. And they work your hamstrings very well, your glutes very well. Hamstrings and glutes are what move the hips, you know? But I always tell this to my jiu-jitsu guys that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I read this, but I think this is where I am in the conditioning mindset. Like, the best swimmers are always in the pool.
Absolutely. 100%.
Right? So you have guys that want to do conditioning 5 days a week, but then do one jiu-jitsu class.
Sure.
Right. No, you got to get on the mats. You know, the best swimmers are always in the pool. You got to get in the pool also. Right. Now, some of the recreational guys, the hobbyists, they can't get into the academy 5 days a week. So yes, please do more conditioning outside on your own.
Sure.
But you know, you can also do standing up and base. I'm not sure if you guys say standing up and base, maybe a technical stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can drill that stuff at home.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. There's no substitute for the training that you're doing by training what you're doing. Essentially.
Yes, there's no better conditioning for jiu-jitsu than
trying to move fast while you're training, while
jiu-jitsu.
you're rolling.
I got a question regarding bodyweight training.
Yes.
Can we get strong and compete at a high level with just bodyweight training, provided that both competitors have an equal technical skill set in jiu-jitsu? One deadlifts 300-400 pounds, the other one can maybe do 20 pull-ups in a clip.
I would say yes.
Please elaborate more.
I would say yes. Well, so for example, that guy lifts external weight. He deadlifts 350 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming the other person's only doing body weight training?
Correct. Solely bodyweight training.
Solely body weight. So I have encountered many individuals that can back squat or front squat 450 and beyond, but they can't do a single leg squat.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would look to the guy that control. And I love external weights. I love barbells, dumbbells, all that stuff. I think they're actually easier to get stronger with than elaborate body weight stuff like gymnastics training and maybe some of this other new movement type of stuff, but new old movement type of stuff. But yeah, you can do single leg squats. You can do pistols. You can do Bulgarian split squats. You know, with your rear foot elevated, all that crazy stuff, which would provide a nice, a great base of strength without all that external weight.
Sure. So with all this hard work, would you trust the guy that can move his body better than the guy that can lift 2 times his body weight?
In my experience, the best jiu-jitsu guys that I have ever worked with are better at body weight training than external weight.
Interesting.
Do you guys know Ricardo Migler-Reese?
Yes.
From down here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He is the strongest individual I have ever touched.
Wow.
When he gets double wrist control on me, it's I don't know what to do. I freeze.
And you're a strong guy.
But he does nothing but body weight training.
Wow.
I mean, he'll play around with some stuff. Like if I bring a cool, like I brought fat handled dumbbells down, he'll do stuff with it. But his program is super simple and basic. It's calisthenics.
Okay.
That's nice. But he's not afraid to get on the monkey bars and play and all that stuff too. But it's just basic body weight training.
Yeah.
Noah Spear. I'm not sure if you guys know Noah Spear. He has a lot of videos on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Another individual who's like So his nicknames in Brazil, he has two, right? The first one is Leite Gringo. Can you translate that?
Lanky.
No. Leite Gringo, American milk. He's so strong that Leite Gringo. I don't have any nicknames. I'm sort of jealous. Leite Gringo, American milk. He's so strong that the Brazilians say our milk have steroids in.
Wow.
Which is probably true, right?
Yeah.
And then his other nickname is I always forget lead in Portuguese, but chumbo, I think. Lead belly.
Just
because if he gets cross-eyed or knee in the belly, it's so heavy.
So heavy and
His
solid.
nickname is Lead Belly.
Wow.
Now, he's taken my kettlebell course. I've worked with him a couple times, but the majority of his work is body weight.
Body weight.
Body weight.
Wow.
Do you have
Real, again, basic but creative and artistic at the same time. Like he'll pull himself up onto a pull-up bar, get like a triangle on his legs, do sit-ups from a pull-up bar with a triangle.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's just moving his
send you those,
body in many different ways and trying to experiment in the exercise itself.
Yep, very creative, but I mean, a pull-up is a pull-up. He just does them differently, you know?
Has fun with it.
Do you have to do body weight training at a high frequency to reap the benefits, like tons and tons of reps?
Not if you alter the variation. For example, push-ups for you guys are probably very basic, simple, right? You probably could, you know,
I could do maybe
do high
11.
repetitions.
Specific.
11, but you're
11.
busting out 20 cannonball pull-ups.
Yeah. There's an
do a
imbalance.
single
There.
arm bear. What's that?
There's an imbalance there for sure.
But so you move beyond the push-up and you go to like a single arm push-up, or maybe keep one hand elevator, one hand on a medicine ball, or
Sure.
you know something like that.
Yeah, I've been liking a lot. We have the what is it called? The board with the little tube underneath that.
Oh, the
I was
balance
gonna say
board?
hoverboard.
It's a balance board. What is it called? I forget what it's called. But it's basically
It's
like
called a balance board.
yeah, a board, and then there's like a cylinder underneath, and you got to balance on it.
Yes.
I've been liking doing push-ups on that, where I either do my hands on the board or my feet on the board,
Right.
and that's really, really taxing to the core. I like that a lot.
Yeah, there's a million variations. You know, I always like to look back in history, right, and see what all the great people did before. Kimura, like nobody before Kimura, nobody after Kimura. Kimura's program was body weight training. He would do hundreds and hundreds of, in judo they call them uchikomis, right?
Okay.
He would do that osotogari, or that big outside reap on a tree.
Wow.
Hundreds and thousands of repetitions on that
That's
tree.
amazing.
I forget I can't remember who he beat, but he beat somebody that he was having a hard time with once.
Okay.
He dropped down and did like 1,000 push-ups, but he didn't have this intricate. Man, training is really weird because people think you need to have these huge, 16-week micro periodization programs, but when it's not there in the historical record. These guys didn't have that.
Yeah. It was just
that's
consistent
true.
training at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
And they had rituals. That's the important. I think they had rituals, right?
What do you mean?
That's one. I think that's one thing that's important for us now. Wake up in the morning and just do 15 minutes of movement.
Oh, true.
Okay.
Right? So before anything starts today, you'll feel better mentally, physically. Just go outside and give me some body weight squats, maybe some up dogs, down dogs, maybe some deep spine rotation. Then come in and
And just move.
Interesting. I think I heard that Steve Maxwell does that, right? He gets up every
a
morning.
lot of people. Yeah, a lot of really good. Not just even outside of the jiu-jitsu world. Like most great minds have this. They call them like performance rituals.
Uh-huh.
Right? They wake up, they take a cold shower, they scrape their tongue, they do a little bit of yoga, they go for a morning walk.
Yeah, interesting. So the benefits of daily rituals, it's very powerful. It's more powerful than people think. Because then it's part of your day. It's part of your regular thing. It becomes as simple as walking.
It's what starts your day. It supercharges
Yes.
and optimizes your next 24 hours.
Yeah, for sure. That first hour of the day sets up the tone for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. I know when I do get up early and train, I do feel much better than when I don't get up that early and train.
Meditate.
Well, I don't get up early, so I can't speak on this matter.
Is that why we were late today?
Yeah, he's a night owl. He's a
night wolf.
He's a vampire owl.
Vampire owl. I love owls. A huge owl tattoo.
I like
but
that.
Try this. I've noticed this in my own world, in my own life. If I wake up and check Facebook, the first hour, dude, my head is just I saw shitloads on Trump, shitloads on Bernie.
That's true.
I saw a kitten getting bit by a turtle.
Yeah. Maybe a beheading or two.
Yeah, it's
and
graphic
it just
now.
completely
Facebook is graphic.
screwed up my day. I
Yeah,
just
totally.
completely contaminated and polluted my consciousness for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Compare that to waking up and reading 10 good pages of a
Just
nice
10.
business book, or just 10 per day,
Anything.
70 per week, man, whatever.
Nice. Yeah, 10 pages, 10 push-ups, 10 pull-ups.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
The small things, they add up. Like you
That's
do.
the prescription
Yeah.
to a good health. Good
A lot of people ask what's
Boom.
a magic thing to get me over the hump? It's just the small things that no one sees.
That accumulate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the simple things, man.
Yes.
Walk into the corner store.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of taking your car every single
2
single
blocks.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the common person, they we work at the gym, and people do come up to us for more than martial arts and ask us to help them with diet or training all the time, and they think they're expecting you to prescribe a workout that they can do 2 or 3 times a week for an hour, and they'll be tip-top shape when they don't realize you're sitting down at work for 8 hours a day. And then you go home, you get in your car, so you're still sitting down. You pick up your kids, or you just go straight home. You make your lunch or your dinner, and then you lay down or sit down on the couch for another 4 or 5 hours.
Watch TV.
So these 3 hours a week of hard exercise will not make up. They'll never catch up to those 15 hours a day of sitting down and laying down and being sedentary.
Yeah.
It's
and
true.
eating bagels and bacon and
they
burgers and bologna and
a lot
and
of
bullshit.
people they expect to lose weight or look good in a month, and then when you ask them how long did it take you to go from the nice figure that you had to being overweight, years, and now you expect to lose all that in a month. It doesn't make sense.
I'll tell you who can look in much better shape in a month. People that are already in shape.
Yeah.
There's a reason why when you're already training jiu-jitsu and you're not coming in every day, but you're coming in 5 times a week, and you're eating pretty healthy, but you're not really
for some people.
Yeah. Well, my point is when that person decides to train for a competition, they look way better in 6 weeks. Because they're already in shape, their body's going to change much quicker. They have a big foundation to work with. They're already moving for 10 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, the results will shine a lot quicker, a lot easier. They could get leaner a lot quicker. Their body doesn't have to adapt and change from this big nonsense lifestyle to this. Just the change, just your body saying, all right, today we're going to have to work a lot. Is a big change for some people, and they get too tired to train consistently,
Right, and a lot of it is psychology also. Trying to get somebody that was completely sedentary to change is a lot harder than getting somebody that's been, training for years.
Yeah.
You just say, okay, let's alter this one thing instead of eating whatever,
And start chipping away.
Yeah.
You mentioned reading 10 pages in the morning. What are 3 books that you would absolutely beg people to read? Those books that you're like, dude, please read this.
Yes. So one would be Mastery by Robert Greene.
Okay.
I have that.
Yeah, you do.
What's that book about?
It's a very dense book.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have not.
It's
gotten
very
far.
dense, and it is hard to read, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
Did
all
he
chapter-
write 33 Strategies of War? Is that his other book? Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, yeah.
And
I have that
48
book.
Laws of Power, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all really dense books.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Dude,
Lead
I
books.
could maybe read 2 sentences a day.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a sexual book? Doesn't he have one of those rotten books?
I helped co-write that.
I don't think so. I helped correct that with him.
Marcos edited the book for him.
Of course.
Kama Sutra.
Marcos Sutra.
Oh, I like that.
That's a good nickname.
Marcos Sutra.
I'm never gonna say it, but
Say it one more time.
Jason,
You better buy that domain name real quick.
someone already did.
Yeah.
God damn it.
GoDaddy overheard us and they put it on the premium
Those
auction.
bastards.
yeah, because you could say Marcos Sutra 7 times. You're like, man, that's a good name.
Dude, it's just such a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Marcos Sutra.
Marcos Sutra.
That could be your.
I'm logging in right now.
It's $9.99 today. Tomorrow it's gonna be $1,000.
$1,400.
And so,
They
what are the
overheard
other?
us.
What are the other 2 books, Jay?
Oh.
Mastery by
Thanks,
Robert Greene. Mastery by George Leonard.
Okay.
George Leonard was actually first. He's an Aikido black belt, so he relates everything back to our sister art of Aikido.
Okay.
But it's awesome. I would actually start with Mastery by George Leonard because it's an easier read. It is a shorter book and it's much more. It's less dense.
Sure.
Right.
Nice.
And then man, the third one. I'm really into this book called Deep Work right now by Cal Newport.
What a cool name.
Deep Work. He sort of took it off of the Deep Practice.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys are familiar with
Sure.
Deep Practice, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or Deliberate Practice, Deep Practice,
Yes.
Deep Work. And I'm really into that. He gives some beautiful strategies in there. But anything also by like Frank Ferencic of Exuberant Animal. He has a
I
bunch.
like that guy.
Change Your Body, Change the World is awesome.
Mm.
Play as if your life depended on it is awesome.
Sure.
The one just called Exuberant Animal is awesome.
Nice.
And do you read the classics like The Art of War and the Book of 5 Rings? Those
I
kinds of
haven't
books?
read either of those,
Okay.
but I really wish I would.
All right, we must terminate this podcast.
The Book of
immediately.
5 Rings is a little easier to read. The Art of War is like, it's kind of hard to read.
Well, there's translations.
Yeah, but I guess my point is the Book of 5 Rings is a lot easier to read,
Let me see.
and it's a cool book. It's
I'll
very
pick
cool.
it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to the library today, so I'll pick it up.
Even the War of Art. That's a.
I heard about that.
I have the War of Art,
Yeah.
How's that
but
one?
I don't. You know what?
Really
I
good.
don't like. I like the idea behind that book, but you know what I have an issue with?
Please do tell.
The word amateur.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
And
in what
professional.
sense?
All right. So the original meaning of the word amateur.
Mhm.
Do you know what it is?
Someone who's not professional.
That's how we use it, but
Yeah.
that was not the original context.
Okay.
So, Marcos, I know you don't speak Spanish, but how do you say love in Spanish?
Amor.
Amor. You
And
say
sex.
amor. Yeah. So listen to that word. It's a French word. Amor, a chore. An amateur was originally somebody who did something
Mind
in
blown.
the spirit. Yeah. It being an amateur is a good thing, man. It's
Yeah.
somebody who does something in the spirit of love.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's a passionate person.
Yes. So we're all amateur jiu-jitsu.
Oof, I love
So-
it.
Right?
So amateur.
my-
That is dope.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so amateur is really the person who's doing it for more than just the money, because we consider a professional someone who does it and gets paid to do it.
Right.
But an
See,
amateur
like
is
on that,
yeah.
in that book, he chastises the amateur. He calls them
Yeah,
out.
that's
You know, professionals do this, professionals do that.
Yeah.
No, forget it, dude. It's the amateurs that wake up on Saturday morning to go play the basketball. It's
True.
me that wakes up at 6 a.m. for no financial benefit to go fucking train jujitsu.
Sure.
Boom.
Right? It's
Yeah.
the amateur. You know, I want to make better amateurs. That's cool. But
Interesting. Yeah, I mean,
the original.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm just thinking back to when I was younger, teen. I probably worked hard and did more practice when I was a kid, when I was my teens, and now I grew up playing a lot of basketball. I used to go play basketball 2 times a day, like in the summer.
Lincoln Park.
Yeah, Lincoln Park, Jersey City.
Stand up.
Stand
Because
up.
we loved it.
Yeah, I loved it, and of course your body can handle it more. But I guess in that sense, I was an amateur in that like you said, that passionate sense.
Yeah.
Because I did it because I just wanted to play basketball. I loved it. I loved the challenge. I knew my friends were going to be there. I knew who was going to play at what days because I was always there. I know when the really good guys were going to be there. So I knew, okay, don't always go at that day.
Right.
You're gonna get crushed.
Because I'm an amateur.
Yeah, I knew when the really bad people would come out, the people that start problems, and it's because I was there all the time, every day, at different times of the day, and it's because I loved to play, not because like I was looking for a career path in it.
That's true.
Very interesting.
Right.
That's a really good way to put it. I never thought of that.
Man, I want
The
to be
alpha
an
brain's kicking in.
I want to be an amateur.
That's
Right?
awesome.
Sure. Interesting.
I don't know if you guys saw that one of the last things I posted on Facebook was when you're in love with your art. We always talk we talked about discipline and stuff, but when you're in love with your art, when you're an amateur, you don't need discipline.
It's true.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because the love
that's the
drives
problem
you
with
more.
fitness.
You don't.
Yeah. That's the problem with fitness. Nobody a lot of places try to just grind you into the ground. It's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's work, right?
That word is heavy.
Work is heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got to do the work.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have another book called Do the Work?
Quite
Stephen
possible.
Pressfield. I think he has. Yeah,
Okay.
Do the Work.
Not
I think
sure.
he has another book called Do the Work.
It's ironic that you say that. I was just talking to Marcos about this. Maybe 3 weeks ago, I started exercising again. In
Yes.
addition to jiu-jitsu, I train all the time. So I haven't found the desire to really exercise, strength train again. But about 3 weeks, I did so, and I tried to approach it a different way. Why was I failing before? Why was I not continuing with that with strength training before? Why did I always go for 2-3 months and then stop? And I did some searching, and I found that a new approach for me could be just focus on the movement. Just try to get better at these movements. Don't think of it as I have to go in and work out hard and I got to go in and get this done.
Mm-hmm.
Just think of it as, all right, today I'm going to go in. These are the exercises I'm going to do, but these are the exercises I'm going to try to get better at. And I'm not going to try to do the workout with the emphasis on finish. I'm going to do the workout with the emphasis on going through the movements and really trying to do each one better and see how much more focus I can have in little things each time, each rep, each set. And I'll tell you what, it's made me a lot more interested in working out and made it a lot more enjoyable. So now if I don't finish because I got to, get to teach in class, I'm not like, it doesn't bother me the slightest bit, because now I'm trying to actually, like, I'm finding a new thing that I can look forward to as opposed to just getting it done and being stronger,
Because you're
Right.
investing in the improvement of the quality of the movement.
That's true.
Yeah. So I guess that goes to what you were saying.
You're doing some deep work.
Deep work.
Boom.
Deep work, not shallow, brother.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Be like bamboo.
Marcos Sutra.
Yes. Hashtag
Marco Sutrino.
Be like bamboo. Yes.
Be like bamboo. Explain it, please. And why bamboo? Why not like cacti or?
Or
I don't
aloe
know
vera.
about- I don't know.
Be like aloe vera. It's strong. It's pliable.
It's strong, it's pliable, it's highly resistant and adaptable. It grows in the desert, it grows in the Arctic.
Quickly too, right?
True.
Quickly, it could grow up, but get this. I just found this out about. And don't steal my analogies, gentlemen, please.
We're recording this, by the way.
It can take
Oh, did
five-
we tell you that we were recording?
Yes.
Surprise.
So check it out. It can take Chinese bamboo. I guess there's different kinds of bamboo, right? But Chinese bamboo, it will sprout just a little bit so it can get some sunlight. But then it doesn't move beyond this tiny little thing sticking out of the ground for 5 years.
Okay.
Wow.
For 5 years, 1 inch. That's what she said, Marcos.
Oh, that's what she told you.
Not
year
to Marco
1
Sutra.
inch. Year 1, 1 inch. Year 2, 1 inch. Year 3, 1 inch. Right? And on year
better.
5,
Where's this analogy going?
It gets better and better.
Hold on, dude. Hold on. So after it reaches the 5th year, it comes out of the ground fully, and it can grow 90 meters in 1 month.
Jeez.
In 1
But
month.
check this out. So do you know what it was doing those whole 5 years?
Marinating.
It was growing its root base. It was cultivating its roots. Dang. The roots had to be broad enough to hold the growth of the thing that would actually come out of the ground.
Interesting. Wow. So the roots.
So
were
for
growing.
5 years, it was laying out its foundation. Listen to that analogy in jiu-jitsu, man.
Spit it.
For 5 years, it was laying out this freaking beautiful foundation. And then once that foundation was laid nice and broad and deep, boom.
Oof. Amazing.
Dude, that's white belt.
Damn.
Ames. That's blue belt.
Yes, sir.
So don't rush.
I'm
People.
taking
Don't
notes.
rush.
Don't
Don't
rush. It's highly sustainable. It can grow anywhere. It's adaptable. It can grow anywhere. It is strong. Dude, they make bridges out of bamboo. There's a bicycle made out of bamboo.
Oof.
Right? The floors, they're now making floors out of bamboo because they're more resilient than like an oak or anything else like that. Like a lot of people that have dogs, they prefer the bamboo because the dog claws won't actually dig into the bamboo.
Oh, interesting.
What else?
Wow, what a great analogy.
It's useful.
Yeah.
It's useful. There's bamboo. I don't drink, but there's bamboo beer.
There's bamboo
bamboo
geese now,
soup.
if you're into that.
There's bamboo geese.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Bamboo
My blue one
geese.
in there, inverted gear.
Yeah.
Bamboo gi.
Bamboo, I
I
love
see
it.
what they did
Yeah,
there.
and they have bamboo rash guards. People are making rash guards out of bamboo.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's completely renewable. Since it grows so quickly, it's not like you cut down a pine tree. It will take another 50, 60 years for a pine tree to regrow.
Sure.
Bamboo can be 3 feet per day.
Jeez.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a pretty amazing plant. So I think I love nature analogies and metaphors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think the human body, our own practice should be like that, sustainable. Like look at Steve Maxwell, 65. He can still do freaking jiu-jitsu. I don't know if he's 65. I think 62.
He's immortal either way.
Good
so.
for him.
Yeah.
Man. That's awesome.
Think about longevity.
Wow.
It's simple. It's ready to go. It's useful. Its usefulness is in its simplicity.
True.
Like, oh, here's another one for the warrior mindset.
Uh-oh.
You ready?
Knowledge bombs.
Jules.
It's hollow. It's empty. Empty the cup, my friend. Ooh. Empty as in humble. Human. I got that from an Aikido guy.
Nice.
But I love the Aikido philosophy applied to jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Which is?
Just that type of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think you'll find, well, maybe Steven Seagal, but I don't think you.
Who, the actor?
Yeah. Like, I was going to say, I don't think
Or
you
the
would find
police,
many
Steven. Police.
dickheads in.
The expert.
I don't think I think you would find many more egos in jiu-jitsu than you would Aikido.
Ah, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Interesting. Do you attribute these egos that we're starting to see in jiu-jitsu to the expanding market of jiu-jitsu, where people are starting to be able to make money and travel and live a nicer life just by doing jiu-jitsu than they would in Aikido? Because I can't imagine the Aikido business is booming right now.
There's a huge Aikido school near my house, actually.
Okay.
But I actually think it's because it comes from Latino culture. Unfortunately, I think it's because it comes from Brazil. Even Hickson says this.
Okay.
Aikido comes from
Jiu-jitsu.
Japan. Japanese still bow at one another.
Yeah.
True.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Brazilians do not bow. I mean,
They make fun of each other and shake hands and laugh and
They wear
party.
speedos.
but they're also, they're down to fight too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, some of those old stories that Hickson has been, known to talk about on recent interviews, and Renzo Gracie are really real. Like, that's how it used to be. Like, you would be challenged by someone else, and you had to take that challenge.
In speedos.
Yeah.
In Speedo, of course.
Speedos, yes.
I mean, movement. We're talking about movement here. You need a Speedo to move best.
Right. But I think it's just because it comes from that passionate,
Fire.
aggressive type.
Yeah, absolutely.
In South America, as opposed to a quiet little.
Culture.
Cottage.
Culture.
Yes.
We're fishing for that word, baby. We found it.
Got it. Almost got it.
Got him. Awesome, man.
We got
Awesome.
you.
So, Jason, how can people reach you? What are your social media handles, and what is your website, and what are your dates?
What are my dates?
Like your certification dates.
All 39 of them.
Yeah, I
You're a
don't know
whore.
them offhand.
Jason's a whore.
But if you're interested in the kettlebell specific work, just check out kettlebelathletics.com.
Mm-hmm.
All my other work could be found on jasoncbrown.tv, TV as in television, because some rat stole the .com.
Listen, man, you can easily buy it back for $10,000.
No big
I
deal.
know.
Yeah,
That's
duh.
what I
And
would
then
do.
somebody actually has belikebamboo.com, so please don't go to
Really?
belikebamboo.com.
What a
Go
bastard.
to belikebamboo.me.
Wow.
That's even more powerful. BeLikeBamboo.me.
Like me.
That .me is interesting.
Yeah, it's
Nice,
from
nice.
Montenegro, that country. And you got to get fancy nowadays with these.
Did you call me a Montenegro? What the hell?
And what are your Instagram and Facebook? At Jason C. Brown Instagram.
Facebook is Jason C. Brown. Yeah, Instagram is Strength Garden.
Oh, I love that title.
That's a great title.
Thank you.
That is a great.
Yeah.
Go train in the Strength Garden as soon as we hang up, actually.
Nice.
My man. All right, my friend.
Thank you very
we're running
much,
out of
gentlemen.
time. We really appreciate you having this great interview and dropping a lot of knowledge and jewels.
You
lot.
bestowed a ton of gems upon us.
Thank you.
Thank
Merci.
you, brother.
All right, Jason.
Be in
thanks a
touch,
lot.
gentlemen.
Yeah,
Amor,
Thank you.
amor.
More.
We'll talk soon, my friend.
Ciao.
See you, bro.
Peace.
See ya. Peace.
Check out Jason's websites, jasoncbrown.tv and kettlebelathletics.com. Show the Art Podcast. Martial Arts and Beyond.